It's June 28, 2026. I'm Oliver Pichardos Payet. All his sketches too on Twitter X, all his sketches tonight on Instagram, all his sketches tonight studio on YouTube, all his sketches tonight on TikTok if you wanna check on TikTok. Anyway, I just called Senator Cory Booker 16 times. 16 times to his office phone in Newark, New Jersey. I live in Elizabeth. So yeah, I call him 16 times. So at this time of the night, he leaves a voicemail for the citizens of New Jersey, for whoever wants to call Cory Booker at this time of the night. So the voicemail is like 3 minutes long. So I left 16 voicemails, 3 minutes long each. So yeah, this is not the first time I call Cory Booker, by the way. I have called him in the past, but it's important. It's important to keep trying. One day I'll get to meet Senator Cory Booker. One day I'll get to take a picture with Cory Booker. Maybe one day Cory Booker will invite me to the Capitol building, and he will talk about me, that he helped me find my missing families, that he helped me fire the State Department Secretary Marco Rubio. We have seen through many campaigns how they point at somebody in the audience when they are campaigning or when they're in a Capitol building or so. When the president visits the Capitol building to make a speech, they like to point out the audience, and sometimes there's a American citizen there, And I said, out of this inspiration the other day, that it's fake, that it's an actor, But just because I say that doesn't mean that I cannot try to call the senator where I live, And maybe one day I get to be sitting in the Capitol building and there will be a president pointing at me, And I'll be standing next to Senator Cory Booker in the Capitol building. Who never knows? Anyway, and it's important to keep trying, because if you believe you're right, if I believe I'm right, if I believe it, if I feel it that I'm right, I'm on the right side of history, that I can still publish that the former senator of Florida, former Intelligence Committee Vice Chair, refuses to respond to me and pretends that I don't exist, is because I'm winning. Because I'm winning in a debate stage. There are two podiums. There are two podiums in a debate stage, If one of the people debating speaks and the other doesn't speak, well, guess who's gonna win the debate? The one speaking, obviously. So in this debate against Marco Rubio, I'm winning because he doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to fight back against what I've been telling about Marco Rubio. So in this debate, I'm winning. And what does that mean? That I caught Marco Rubio. Just like there's a Valdemins in the debates that said that Marco Rubio doesn't make sense. And this was in English. Well, I caught Marco Rubio and I said that he doesn't make sense in Spanish because he's making up a lot of lies. He's a liar. Marco Rubio is a liar. And Valdemins, the congresswoman from Florida, called him in English. And guess what? I called Marco Rubio in Spanish. And he cannot run away from questions. And Venezuela is important. Venezuela is important because Marco Rubio has a responsibility. He can just pretend, pretend only 79 members of the LA search and rescue and Virginia search and rescue, you know, can help in Venezuela, That's not enough. And the people that were sent from the State Department, the Americans that were sent from the State Department, whether we're from Virginia, California, or Florida, that's not enough. And by the way, Marco Rubio was watching the FIFA World Cup game with not other than the FBI director. So we're talking about a 2 hour waste of taxpayer dollars. Not only taxpayer dollar that pays the director of the FBI, Cash Patel, but also taxpayer dollar that pays the State Department Secretary Marco Rubio. When Marco Rubio and Cash Patel are supposed to be working, well, they were not working. They were watching the FIFA World Cup game at the stadium, watching Portugal. And Marco Rubio doesn't care. Marco Rubio has no feelings. And I said a lot of information on 3 minutes. I'm so fast, I could talk so fast, and it could fit 3-minute voicemails. I have practiced for so long calling congressmen and congresswoman, because it's a 3-minute long, space for voicemails. And, that's how I became so fluently, and my English is like 100% way better than before because I practice leaving 3-minute voicemails to senators and congressmen and congresswomen. So yeah, I decided to call Senator Cory Booker again because it's important to read the content that I'm publishing. I'm not publishing in somebody's basement. I'm publishing in my office where I promote my artwork, If Cory Booker wants to promote the beaches of New Jersey and say that the beaches of New Jersey are better than the beaches in Florida, well, this is the time. This is time. Because a lot of artists paint beaches, And it's important for New Jerseyans and New Jersey beaches to get promoted more. Because Florida gets all the tourism all the time. It's never New Jersey. And by the way, I got my American flag. I got my American flag over here. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's getting hot. In a couple of days, it's gonna be 100 degrees. Like twice. Like I think Thursday and Friday is gonna be like 100 degrees. Oh yeah. Italy and France cannot handle 100-degree weather. Can you believe this? In 2026, the traffic lights in Italy and France, I believe, are melting. Can you believe this? Because nobody's paying attention to what's going on. And it's not just the administration of Donald Trump that doesn't care about the environment, doesn't care about anything. They only care about making money. Also in Europe, they only care about making money because the traffic lights are melting. Can you believe this? I've never heard this before. Like in Europe, the traffic lights are melting because it's so hot. Like I never seen a melted traffic light in New Jersey. And it's been hot before, So yeah. I think they are doing things halfway. And it shows in Europe. And if it shows in Europe that they're doing things halfway, they're doing it in America. Traffic lights that melt. When have you heard this? Because presidents nowadays just want to make money. Especially President Donald Trump just want to make money for himself. He's a 6 billionaire. So, yeah. And it's a failure of Donald Trump not to point at, the weakness of Europe that doesn't know how to make the top of the best traffic lights, you know. Donald Trump is not America first because Donald Trump has not spoke about the melting traffic lights in Europe. He doesn't want to promote built in America, you know. So Donald Trump is not America first. Marco Rubio is not America first because the traffic lights are melting on the news in Europe because it's so hot in France and Italy. And Marco Rubio doesn't want to say America's traffic lights are the best. They will never melt. Not even in the coming 100-degree weathers on Thursday and Friday. Right here in New Jersey. Oh yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to make this short video. You know, it's not always have to be live on Twitter X. So yeah, this is just short video to say a couple of things. If anybody has any questions, you know, or any comments, then I will talk about what you want me to say, what you want me to talk about. But if not, I'm just gonna talk about whatever I want to talk about. That's the way it works for people to talk, for people to you know, to want me to talk about an issue, a topic. They have to tell me. Common sense. You have to tell me if you want me to talk about something. Something. You have to tell me if you want me to talk about something. That's just common sense. Common sense. Anyway, it's been 11 minutes already. Bye-bye. Have a good day. I hope you enjoy your family, and not be afraid. Don't ever be afraid to call your senators, your congressmen, your mayor. Even if it's email, you could email your mayor, you know, in Linden, Derek Armstead, and he will respond to you back and say, Oliver, you're dealing with discrimination. And you know, I think it's true. Derek Armstead was right. America is dealing with discrimination and racism because, you know, what the cabinet members in the White House are all white. I think there's only one African American, and is the housing, the Department of Housing. That's the one that is an African American, I believe. The others are white, you know. And that includes Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is white. If you look at Anthony Rubio, he's super white. Anyway, what does that say that Anthony Rubio, who plays college football in Florida, doesn't ever get a tan? It means that he's in a room, you know. He's in an intelligence committee room still, with air conditioning, that he's so white, that he has AC, you know. Maybe that's what Amanda wants to say. That is Anthony, the one who has been committing abuse of power. That is not Amanda, because Amanda is just at the beach all the time. That is not her to blame. That is Anthony, the super white. He doesn't ever get a tan because he's in a AC room all the time, I guess. Is that the case? You know, and he's violating people's rights in America. He's spying American citizens. That might be the case. Notice how I report the news without fear. Notice how I report the news because I care. Notice that I still have an American flag over here. So yeah, make some noise for El Nino, because it's important to promote music so you don't ever give up. If you feel like giving up, just find something in you and from your memory and try to remember it and say it again. So yeah, say a good story from your past and it will keep you going. Bye bye.